Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the perfect tiered dress. But before we get into the video, so this channel now has 2,000 subscribers, and I am very grateful to all of you amazing people who come here to engage with my content. Thank you so much for your support. I really love you guys. Okay, so guys, stick till the end so that you get the best of this tutorial. So these are the measurements you need to make this dress. I'll start by drafting a basic bodice. So from the borderline, you measure the desired length you want for the dress all the way down, and then you rule across. Next, you measure your armhole depth, and you can add like 2 inches to this. Okay, so the normal armhole depth that I'm working with is 8 inches, so plus 2 inches, then I have 10 inches. Measure your shoulder to waist from the borderline here. So I'm working with 15 inches. So after measuring your shoulder to waist down, you measure your shoulder to hip, and here, and then you have your hem, that you already marked as the length of the dress. So rule all the points you just measured across. So this first line will serve as the shoulder line, and then the next is the armhole line, and the next one will be the bust line, which we're not going to really need for this tutorial. And then you have the waistline here, the hip, and the hemline. Now at the borderline here, measure half of your shoulder width, okay, and also mark half of your shoulder measurement on the armhole line, and just rule up from there to meet the shoulder width that you marked on the borderline. So next, measure the neck width. I'm using 3 inches for my neck width. For the neck depth, I marked 1 inch down. That's for the back neck depth. So for the front neck depth, measure 3 inches down from the neck point. Okay, so we're drafting the front and the back neckline together. Okay, so now draw your neckline, both the front and the back, with your curved ruler. Mark ½ inch down from the shoulder point and connect to the neck point, and this is how you get your shoulder slant. So the next thing to do is to mark the midpoint of this line here, okay, and like this is the armhole depth line. So mark half of it and then go in by another ½ inch. Since this is going to be a free dress, on the bust line, just mark your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 4. So for this dress, I'm working with 36. So 36 plus 4, that's 40. Divided by 4, that is 10. So that will give you all the ease you need when you're wearing the dress. So I'll just mark that here. So you can transfer the same 10 inches on the armhole line to the bust line, okay? And if you want the pattern to have shape, you also mark your waist measurement plus 4 divided by 4. But since it's a tiered dress, okay, I need the waist area to be free. Okay, so let's just keep the waist measurement all together and let's move to the hip line. So on the hip line, we're doing the same thing, the hip plus 4 divided by 4. And for this one, I'm working with a 38 inch hip. So 38 plus 4 divided by 4, that's 10.5. So that's what I'm going to mark here. And also I will mark this at the hemline, but if you want the hemline to like flare out a little, you can add a bit to it so that you have like an A shape kind of hem, but that's also not necessary here. So the next thing to do now is to connect all the points with your curved ruler. For the armhole shaping, you connect from the shoulder point to the ½ inch that you have here, and then you blend into the armhole line. So basically we have our pattern ready, and when cutting, you make sure that you cut out just the back neckline. So the first layer of this tiered dress is going to be 13 inches long, and the second tier or layer will be around 25 inches, although 23 inches is good, but I'm going to mark 25 here. So then you rule across and you label. So I have 1 for the first tier, 2 for the second tier, and then 3 for the third. Okay, so slash through all the layers and you're going to have 3 pieces. Okay, all right, so I'm going to be using this stripe fabric to cut this tiered dress, and this is about, I think, 5 yards. I want the print to go vertically. I want it to run vertically because this makes you appear taller. Okay, just fold the fabric like so and cut out, just fold enough that can cut the first tier or the first layer with all the allowances you want to add. I'm just adding 1/2 inch seam allowance for the joining of the side, and then you cut out. So I'll put the back piece away so that I can lower the front neckline. I already have 1 inch up here, you know, so for the back neckline, so I'm just going to go down by 3 inches so that the neck depth is 4 altogether. So if you look closely, you'll see that it's a V neckline dress. Okay, so that's why I'm connecting this way. So I'll just connect and then you cut out. So this will be the length for the second tier, and then for the width of it, okay, so that you know the amount of fabric you want to cut out to gather, you multiply your bust measurement by 2. And so make sure that you take into account the ease that you added, that's 4 inches you added, you know, to your bust measurement, and then all the sewing allowances that you already have. Once you know the figure you are working with, you measure that out on your fabric, add your seam allowance at the top and the bottom. 1/2 inch is okay. So but don't worry if you don't have enough length on your fabric, you know, just keep folding in half until you have the amount of fabric you need. For instance, I have 30 inches on fold here. Okay, so and that will be 60 altogether because it's on fold. When I open it up, I'm going to have 60 inches because I'm working with 80 inches altogether. Okay, so I'm just going to place the paper down here again, measure out the remaining 20 inches that I need for the total width, and I'll have what I need. And yes, you're going to have to join the pieces together, but you just have to ensure, or you look for the parts where the pattern, if any print you're working with, you just look for where the prints are close, you know, in shape, and then you join so that the joining will not even be visible. So for the last layer, is basically the same process. Multiply the width you used for the second layer by 2 or 1.5, and then you work with that. Remember that I had 80 for the second tier, so 80 times 2, that's 160 inches. Okay, so I have joined the upper part of the tiered dress together, and I did this neat finishing that makes it look very neat on the inside and also outside. So I'm going to now sew up the second tier pieces together. Okay, so you're going to gather it back to the measurement you have here. So now I have gathered, and first and the second tier are the same width now. So what I'm going to do is to pin around this way and then sew these pieces together. So next is to do the same thing with the third tier. So gather again and also join to the second tier. So for the sleeve, I just drafted a basic sleeve pattern. I did not fit it around the elbow or the wrist because, you know, I need all the ease and the extra fabrics, and I also added 2 inches for extra length. Okay, so and I added this because I'm going to be creating an elastic casing. I cut a long strip of fabric which I used to cover the joinings I have, you know, the joining between the layers, the tiers. And this is a perfect way to finish your sewing, especially when you don't have a serger or you don't have time to take it to someone to weave for you. Okay, so I've gone ahead to join the sleeve, and this is what it looks like. This is the dress. Thanks again for 2K subscribers. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and also comment, and of course come back for more sewing videos.